Hi everyone, it's Tammy with Frou-frou Studio. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to actually be combining my Relax Revisit Remake with the hashtag ABC April 2025 make for today, because we are on letter Z, the last prompt day for the hashtag ABC April 2025 challenge. And the letter Z also is in one of my, not one of my favorite make that I want to revisit today. Sorry, I had a brain fade there for a minute. I have made a ton of these. I love them. I will continue to love them. And so I'm going to share with you, and I have a couple of other videos too if you want to look at some of the other versions of this. But I am going to make a zipper tag. Coincidentally, this was probably one of my first makes for, or one of the things I made that I actually found on Pinterest. So it kind of fits into the I saw it on Pinterest thing too. And I do have a board on Pinterest that has some of my makes, mostly from the earlier times, because I don't seem to ever remember to pin my stuff and put it in my board. But there are a lot of zipper tags, which is what I'm going to make today, in that particular board, and the board is just called Frou-frou, or it may be Frou-frou Studio. See, I've not done anything to it in so long, I don't even remember what it's called. But regardless, we're going to make a zipper tag today, and there's several ways that you can do this. I'm going to show you the way that I do it, and then you guys take it and run with it and do whatever you like. So the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need some kind of tag. This is a pre-made tag, and it had an ugly gold hole reinforcer on it, and I peeled it off because I don't like them. I know Barbara at 49 Dragonflies would be just flabbergasted that I said I didn't like the gold, but I don't like it on the tag, so I have removed that, and I'll replace it with another one once I get finished. This, like I said, this is a pre-made tag, and it's about 3, and it's almost 3 1/4 by about 6 1/2. So it's about 3 1/4 by 6 1/2 if you want to make your own. Now these tags are, I'll give you a warning, they end up bulky. So if you're going to make one of these to put in your journal, be sure when you're building your signatures in your spine that you're going to take into account that this is, a pretty bulky tag. One, because you're going to have a zipper on it, and so that automatically is going to cause some bulk. But you're also going to have several layers, which is going to cause some bulk. So you want to take that into consideration when you are building your journal. You can also put these on the cover if you want to avoid the bulk that goes inside. I think that they work better if you are going to put them inside the journal, to either clip them on a page or to have them so that they are a flip or that they are a tuck. because most of your bulk is down here at the bottom, and so it makes it kind of hard to fit into a pocket, if that makes sense. Okay? Now, after you have picked your zipper, and don't worry about how long your zipper is. You can see this one is longer than the tag. That's fine. You can cut it off with scissors very easily. Where do I get my zippers? If you go on eBay or you go on Etsy, there are sellers on there that will sell big bundles of zippers. You can also get them at thrift stores quite frequently. I have got them like at estate sales, but fewer and far between here lately. I think that's because more people are using things that are used, and so the sewing stuff at estate sales, where it used to just sit there, is being picked up, more frequently. But like I said, you can find them. I think I got my last batch off eBay. And again, it doesn't matter what size they are. Usually the lots are all different colors bundled together in all different lengths. And again, that doesn't matter. When Joann's was here, which we don't have any Joann's left yet, or now, you can buy them online from Joann's, I'm sure. Occasionally they had like you buy two get three or some kind of sale on them that made them pretty reasonable. But to be honest, the cheapest way is to get them from off Etsy or eBay, and they end up being very low cost. All right. That's all the business talk, so let's get busy. So what you're going to need, in addition to the base, is you're going to need 2 strips of, and I would use a cardstock paper here, or fabric. And the reason I say that is because you're going to be putting it over this part of the zipper. You want something that's not going to telegraph through your paper. So if you use regular paper, that doesn't have a little bit of snap to it, then this ridge right here is going to telegraph through your paper, and it won't give you as nice a finish. And like I said, I'm going to tell you how I do it, and then, you run with it and do it however you want. I've already cut the bottom of this. Now, one thing I will say is you want to get the zippers that have a stopper down here, because you want to be able to cut that little extra piece off. And you want to cut it straight across right at the stopper. And that will give you a nice clean place to mount this on the tag. And we're going to mount it, so that it's unzipped like this. Now, some people that do these, they will zip this up, glue their paper on, and then unzip it. I don't do it that way, and the reason I don't is a couple of reasons. You can do it that way, it's fine, but if I did that, if I took my paper and put it on here, and then I unzipped it, what are my lines going to be? They're going to be crooked, and I can't handle that. So I'm going to put my paper on straight up and down. I hope that makes sense. So that when it is mounted on my tag, these lines are straight up and down. Now, if you have a pattern that doesn't matter, then by all means, zip it up, glue it on, you know, like this, and then you can unzip it. But I'm not going to do that because I like my pattern to be straight up and down. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue on my zipper. I do use Fabri-Tac for this. If you want to sew it on, by all means sew it on. I think gluing it on works better, especially at first. And then if you want to go back and stitch it, you can. I use my 3-in-1 glue to do it. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to glue just the outside edge so that I can get this put in place, if I can get my glue down there to come out. And sorry, I just jumped right in and didn't say hi. Hi, I'm glad y'all are here today. This, like I say, I get excited when I talk about these or make them because they really are my favorite piece of ephemera. And, you know, they have everything going for it as far as I'm concerned, especially since I love the layering as much as I do. Come on. There we go. It's coming. Now, the reason I'm only doing the outside edge right now is I'm going to be stuffing the inside with a bunch of stuff. So I don't want to glue it down until I have everything that's going in the opening in there. Oh, come on. This glue. It's getting older, and so it's getting thicker and cantankerous. I need to get a little bit of acetone and put in there to loosen it up a little bit. Acetone evaporates, and I think that's what makes this glue get thicker. The longer you've had it, is I think the acetone evaporates out of it. And now, I have a lot of stuff that's going in this opening, and so I'm not worried about this background being white. But if you're not going to stuff your opening with very many things, then you would want to use a coordinating pattern of paper to make your tag, and then it wouldn't be solid white in here, it'd have a pattern. Okay, so I have that cut down, and then or glued down, and then like I said, all you have to do is take your scissors and cut it, and it will cut right off where you need it to be. Just like that. Okay. So now we have our zipper in place. So now we're going to put our 2 pieces of scrapbook paper. And like I said, I'm going to put it straight up and down, just like that. Alright. And I know that's covering the zipper, but when we get done, you will see what we're going to do here. So I'm going to put glue all around here. And again, I'm using the 3-in-1 because we're gluing the fabric to paper. And this glue, honestly, is it's gonna kill me before we're done. It's just driving me crazy, guys. Let me get a paper clip. I'm gonna unbend a paper clip and see if I can stick it down in the hole. It's not blocked, or it doesn't seem to be. Just needs to have some acetone put in there. Okay, and this is just Tim Holtz paper, and you just need to make sure that when you cut it, it's gonna, you know, cover your whole side there. And straight up and down here. Just like that. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this and I'm going to roll this backwards until it exposes the edge of the zipper. Just like that. And then I'm going to take my tear ruler and I'm gonna tear it. Because I want it to look like it has ripped through. Okay, so now we have this, and then we can tear it across the top here, just like that, and then we can rough this up, curl it, whatever. I use my nails usually, but you could use the edge of scissors or, you know, whatever you want to. And then we're going to do some inking to kind of get rid of some of that wet or white stuff going on the edges. Ink around the whole thing. Now, at this point, if you wanted to take your sewing machine and sew all the way around there, you could. And then I'm going to take some ink and just kind of make this less white, just in case I have some peeking through. I don't think I will, because like I said, I've got quite a bit of stuff to put in the background of this one. Okay, so now I'm going to start building here. And I have fussy cut out a bunch of flowers, and I have some die cut flowers, and we're just going to build like a little garden in here. This is my biggest piece, so I'm going to put it in first, and you will have to trim you know, some of these pieces based on where you put them. And I just use my nail, usually, and just kind of mark how they're going to fit in there. And then use the scissors. And I've already inked all these. So that one will fit right down in there now. And I want to get them all sized and cut before I start gluing. So we have that one, and then I think I had this yellow one behind. Just like that. And then this little guy. Is that the only one I have behind? I think it is. So let's glue this one down. Then we'll glue the big one. Oops. I was wondering why that wouldn't go in there. Trim it off. Now this can get a little bit fiddly depending on what kind of pieces you use in here. But it's so worth it in the end to take a little bit of extra time to get all these pieces worked in and get them where you want them. May have to trim this one a little bit more. See if I can get it up under there. There we go. Yeah, and I don't even think that one needs to be glued in, because by the time I get everything else in here, I think it's going to be fine. Really want that up here. Can I get that up? Probably not. Okay, let's do... Yep, that's good. Sorry, I'm going to try to work as quickly as I can. And if this gets too long, I'll just speed it up a little bit. Okay, let's get this one in. Here we go. All right, now we have this piece, I believe. Again, use my fingernails so I can tell where I want to trim it. And I think when you're doing flowers like this, if you will use your fussy cut flowers, especially the ones that you may not be able to get, you know, real close cut in the background, and then use your die cut flowers in the front, it makes it look more realistic. And it also helps hide some of the white areas that you may not be able to get in and cut, you know, where you may have done more of a kiss cut than actual fussy cut. Okay, now I'm going to put this little teacup right here. I've got to measure where my things on the outside are going a little bit. So I can figure out where to put my other things on the inside. Okay, where am I? Here they are. So I've got some more of those little berries, and they're gonna go right down here. Then I have this one. And let's put it over here just a little bit. So you see how you can still see those flowers in the background, but there's another layer on top of them. So it gives the appearance of being a really flush, full garden. Or I guess I should say lush garden, not flesh garden. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna do that one right there. Alright, so let me move all these so I can get these in here. And they may not go back in the same place that I just had them. They probably won't, because that's what usually happens. But they'll be in close proximity of where I just had them. I guess you could call that like a dry fit, right? I did like a dry fit before I glued everything down. Oh, that one little stem doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. Okay, so there is the inside. And you could keep on adding layers. But now we want to connect the inside with the outside. So that's where these flowers are going to come in, because they're going to kind of flow over the edge. And I think I want this one here. Kind of combined everything together. Now you can also use foam tape to give this more dimension. I do that quite often, and I will probably have to use some on the bird, just because the bird is going to be going over the zipper part, and so to get a nice flat surface, you know, where it hits the zipper, I will have to put some foam tape on some of the parts in order to get it to set nicely. Oh, I forgot to trim this. I forgot to trim the outside, guys. Trim it back down to width. I'll have to re-ink that too, because I went around and inked it while it was too wide. I didn't cut that very straight. Okay. Alright, so we want our zipper down. We want our coffee cup here. We want our yellow flower there. We want our white flower here. So let's do the white one. And the yellow one. And again, you can do these in any theme that you like to. I've done circus ones and steampunk and Tim Holtz and with the paper dolls. They look really cute with paper dolls. Sewing, of course. I'm going to put that one on there. Do you want to put it there? think I'll do it right there, and I think I'll put a piece of foam tape on that one. Just raise it up a little bit. Somewhere I have some little foam dots. These are little bitty tiny ones, but I think they'll work for these little flowers. Maybe if I can even get it out. Oh my goodness. Those are way fiddly. It's sticking to my finger. Oh, no. I was trying to say maybe I'm trying to peel them off the wrong way, but I'm not. These came free with a scrapbook, scrapbooking.com order, and I got them, and I was like, well, no wonder they're giving them away, because they're kind of useless. Because they're too small. You can't grab them. Maybe you'll all know a better way. Tweezers would probably help. And I'm going to do some glue as well. Throw my little scrappies away here. So now let's get some foam tape for the bird, and we're not going to use that foam tape. I can tell you that. We'll use this one. It's pretty thick. So it should give us a nice... So if it sits here, I want to put a little bit on his tail and a little bit on his head. The middle of his body is going to be supported by the cup and the zipper. Seriously. That is not at all sticky. Okay. That's it. That's my dealing with the foam tape for today. So I'm going to put some glue so I can catch it wherever I can, where the foam tape's not. Then we're going to set our little bird right on the saucer. And then I have this little sentiment, and I normally don't do sentiments, but I wanted to put this on here because it says you are amazing, and I think you guys are amazing. I appreciate your support so much. You just don't even know. And I appreciate all the comments and you watching my channel and watching me just do what I love. That means so much to me. Okay, so now let's ink all the way around. Again, since I had to trim that off. And then we'll figure out what we want to do for a ribbon or something at the top. Normally I make a bow out of crinkled seam binding, but did I grab it? No. I'd really like to use black, but I don't know if I have any black. Okay, let me put a whole reinforcer on there. You can see where the ink has gone, where the old one used to be, where it was still sticky. Ink that a little bit. Now on the back, this particular card is white. If you don't want it to be white, then, you know, by all means, cover it with tea dye. But like I said, because I would use this either on a journal cover or glued down in my journal as a tuck, I'm not worried about what the back looks like. So let me pull out my little bin here and see if I have something in here, or I'm going to have to go start searching. have green. It's not enough. Okay, I'm going to put you on pause. And I'm going to go find some crinkle seam binding, which is all the way on the other side of the room by my sewing machine. And I will be back in just a second. Alright, I'm back. I didn't have any black, so I settled on this kind of cream color. So this is how I make a bow, if you can call it that. I take one piece and I cut it fairly short and I put it through. And then I take the other ones and I just wrap it back and forth until I have 2 little loops on both sides. And then I lay it in the middle and I tie my little piece in a knot. If I can get my fingers to work, they're sticky from the 3-in-1 glue. Oh, come on. There we go. And that makes a cute little bow. It has 4 tails, but I like that. And you can make it as big or as little as you want. So you can see when you get these made, they are quite bulky. But like I said, just, you know, if you know, there it is from the side. I hope you can see that. If you know that you're going to make one, you can allow and account for that when you are constructing your spine. I want to sand this. And then you can, you know, if you want to do more embellishing to it, you can. You know, like I said, if you do a sewing themed one, they are quite cute because you can use buttons and things like that on them. If you're doing a steampunk one, you can use cogs and you can use grommets and brads and whatever. So there you go. There's a zipper tag. They make me so happy. I may have to make a couple more just because. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and be sure and let me know what you think in the comments. And a big thank you to Margaret and Tony for hosting the ABC April 2025 challenge. It's been fun. I really enjoyed it, but I'm also very glad that I am finished with it. It's kind of one of those happy, sad kind of situations, but yeah, it has been a lot of fun. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it too, and seeing everybody's makes. So that's it for this one, guys, and I will see you back on Thursday for I Saw It on Pinterest. Bye.